All right, 5 pastors, 2 atheists. Oh, I might do better on this.
I'm a pastor.
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 2 are liars. I like Owl Went Out. This is a nice show. Owl Went Out is a good show. I like the show.
So what about an introduction to start things off? My name is Jay. I'm an Episcopal priest.
I'm Don, pastor, non-denominational.
Dominic, Lutheran pastor.
Paul, youth pastor, SPC.
Paul wore a whole suit, and I was like, oh, maybe he's overcompensating. Like, I don't know what a pastor would wear on a Saturday. Maybe it's this suit.
So I'm Zach, former Calvary Chapel pastor, and now like fully Calvary guy.
Whoa, yes!
Yeah, hence the tattoos and stuff.
My strategy is going to be this idea of like really trying to just hear the heart behind like why people are pastoring.
Daniel, also youth pastor, non-denominational.
I'm Anna, largely non-denominational, kind of all over the place over the years.
I mean, I have a question like education. So
Sure.
seminary, maybe degrees, I don't know.
Seminary, theological studies.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where at?
King's College as well as Oxford University.
Okay. Was that like an MA or was it an MDiv or
You're
what
drilling me in.
I
aren't
know.
was it? Absolutely drilling you in, dude.
No, your turn. Your
Oh,
turn.
my turn.
Your turn. Yeah.
Yeah,
man.
so
Give it to him.
So I'm in an MA program at Western Seminary currently.
I went to Calvary Chapel Bible
Come
College.
on, dude.
Yeah, baby.
Yeah.
And then did the Veritas program, so a degree in theology with a focus in biblical studies.
You seem very happy.
Actually, not really a formal institution, but I grew up in such a rural area. There was just nothing for so far. So almost more like an apprenticeship kind of context. Tiny town with tinier towns around it. So we all would kind of come to the same Lutheran church primarily when I was studying.
What kind of Lutheran church?
Again, such a small area that just Luther. There's so few people together.
Generic brand.
Yes, generic, run-of-the-mill
Gotcha.
Lutherans.
I like that.
Immediately, I thought, well, if she's a Lutheran pastor, she would definitely say which denomination she would be.
What town did you grow up in?
Upper Michigan, actually, very small area.
What town?
Near Marquette is kind of one of the big cities around there, but
Gotcha.
it's the one that someone would know.
And I've spoken very general terms. I don't even think she knew the
First person we
city
saw in this video.
that she came from, but she knew the city that was next to the city she came from. And at that point, I was done.
You mentioned that you didn't grow up in the church. More of that going around?
Sure.
Okay, totally.
So I've been there all my life, was baptized at 7 years old. I don't think I really became a
So,
believer until I was
this
30, to
guy,
be perfectly
the guy
honest.
with the yellow
I
hat
did it because
and
I
the
was
guy
brought
with
up.
the-
This is what you're supposed to do. You do what they do and
This
what they say.
guy. Okay, I'm narrowing out this guy, the black guy, and the guy with the yellow hat. I know about those guys. This old guy and this guy haven't really talked much, so kind of wary about those guys. The Lutheran guy, he was talking about multiple denominations, so he sounds legit. The lady, she's speaking so vaguely that I don't know if she's for real or not.
Saying you believe, blah, 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 blah. So, yeah, and then I got kicked out.
If you shop with the Walmart app, you know everything you need is right at your fingertips. So you can spend a little less, to get a little more, to make life a little better.
This is what my skin looked like 6 months ago. I was struggling with breakouts along my jawline and my cheeks. And this is what my skin.
Oh, Paul didn't talk much. Anna talked a lot and didn't say
What
a
I
lot.
knew about Lutherans, there should have been a very specific answer to that question, and that kind of threw me off.
ANNA. Done.
Of course, the woman's not.
That's
Check your bias. Bye.
Being the only woman in the group today was a little tricky. Obviously, not being able to always edge my way into the conversation was not able to present it in the way that I would have liked and that I thought would have been more effective.
I walked in and I was so happy that there was a female pastor because they're the only types of people that are as rare as gay pastors like myself.
It's very much still new where we're seeing queer pastors and queer worship leaders and queer Christians.
Tell me, you got kicked out for why?
I got kicked out. Well, I got kicked out because I was in the church, and as I grew older in the church, I began to ask questions that to me were very obvious.
What was one of those questions?
Is baptism essential for salvation? You know, communion, some of those, battleground questions that oftentimes separate, faith and denomination. Yeah.
I pastored high school kids for years, and I never had any of them asking me that question.
I want to know what everybody's ministry responsibilities are and what you're currently teaching through.
Yeah, so I'm an assistant teaching pastor, and so we're replanting, revitalizing. So I'm an elder and a teaching pastor.
I serve at a small Korean church in La Mirada, California, and I take care of the youth ministry.
So I'm kind of semi-retired. I also don't have a congregation, although I work with one. It's a little Episcopal church in San Clemente. I also have a weird job that I'm chaplain to a governmental agency.
Jay answered a question about being retired, but he never indicated what he was retired from. And after years of being in ministry or serving, I thought there would have been a culmination of his life experiences, and now he's doing a part-time assistant thing. And I thought, okay, so we've slipped into some unknown factors about yourself, Jay.
I don't pastor a church. I pastor pastors. So I work for a denomination, and I preach at different congregations every week.
I'm not in the pulpit right now, but I am teaching in small groups, conversations. There's a lot of dogmatic positions that are just generalized for Christendom.
So I have a question. I mean, when was the last time you were in a hospital room with somebody, and what comfort did you give them in a time that was critical?
Oh, I hate this question.
I think that someone who is in pastoral ministry, it's more than just preaching and teaching. I felt a question that would get at that about how somebody gives the comfort and the peace of the presence of God would really indicate whether or not they were a pastor and they were involved in that type of ministry.
The last time I was in the hospital was not too long ago. It was, I'd actually become almost a medical proxy for a family friend's mother. She was elderly and was kind of going through, and it was very, very tender for me. But the comfort that I gave.
This guy and this guy are not talking much. So these three and this guy will be my final four. If I was to vote somebody off, I'll probably vote this guy off right now, and then see if this guy talked more.
Was knowing that her family was nearby, and knowing that beyond this moment, when she stepped out of time into eternity, she would be in the place she longed to be.
I've only had to do it once, and it was very recent, and I hated it with every fiber of my being because it was for somebody that I loved, and it was a lot of waiting and quiet and very, very soft prayers and just kind of being there, and I'm shaking. I hated it.
The thing that I thought I spotted was that he was just trying too hard.
He was talking a lot.
The way that he was answering the questions was very old school.
Do y'all know Jesus?
Sorry. Sorry, dude.
I see what's happening. First the woman, then the black man, the gay is next. I see what's happening.
What the devil? Me? I question everybody else left up there. Do they know Jesus? 'Cause I know him.
If you think the mole is still in the box and you want to continue playing the game, please raise your hand.
So let's start with the question of what does atheism mean to you?
I talk to my kids a lot about agnosticism, more than I talk about atheism, just because of the oversimplification of as an atheist, I don't believe in God. Well, it's well, what is God?
I go back to what Augustine the Hippo said, right? All hearts are restless until they find rest in God. An atheist is not the enemy. It's not just because you don't believe in the God that I love and serve. Doesn't mean you're the enemy. It means that you're restless in your heart and you're trying to search for meaning and belonging in anything other than God.
I'd be curious to know if anybody on the stage that did not have a real serious questioning time.
You start.
Yeah, go for it.
You are very quiet, and that's just a little sus to me.
What was the question?
You are the best dressed.
What brought you out?
I'm a little overdressed today. So the question was, have I ever wrestled with faith? To be honest, I wrestled more with my calling, more than my faith. My faith, once I had an experience, an encounter with God out of drug addiction, my faith was pretty solid. But with the calling, I think I wrestled countless amount of times. In high school, my parents decided to split, and that's when I really went on a frenzy with drug addiction. I struggled with meth, crystal meth, from my junior year. I think that's what really...
Bro, where was bro getting as a 16-year-old, to 17? What is going on, man? I guess California is different. But out here, I was 17. You didn't have that. Wow.
Put me to the pit of my life, the most rock bottom of my life, and the only way I could go is to look up.
So I have a question. How do we feel about eschatology?
Well, we're amillennial.
You're amillennial? Okay.
Yeah,
Very cool.
so
okay.
Yeah. We are in the end times.
Yeah,
We were the second
totally.
Jesus said it was
Yeah,
finished.
I have a lot more
Yeah.
openness to the on-mill position than I did. Growing up, Calvary Chapel was like hyper
Oh,
dispensational.
And this is a really, I'm like
Hyper
such a
dispensational
sensitive
pre-mill,
subject
you
for
know?
me because of the
Because of your background.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And
So on-mill, that's okay. It's cool.
You know, I don't expect the end time anytime soon.
I sensed maybe a little bit of woundedness that he was putting forth, and wondering if maybe that was part of what he was using as a mask there.
I won't lie to you, Jay looked super familiar, and I was banking on him being a paid actor that I had seen in something before.
There was a tie. The tie is between Jay and Daniel. I will give you each on the clock 30 seconds to state your case.
You know, I don't know what to say except that I think I should have not voted for the redo. Other than that, you know, went to seminary 85 to 88, MDiv, Episcopal priest for 35 years. I thought what was going to do me in is I'm really liberal, and you guys just killed me on that. So that's basically it.
I know what to say. I am a pastor. Please don't vote me out. It's as simple as that. I know that I've been ordained for a bit, and I'm in this like new congregation I'm really excited about. And the reason that I actually came was because I heard that there was some cash, and I was like, I really want to take the kids on like a cool trip, and so I really want to like split some of this cash for the kids in the youth group. So that's why I'm here, and I don't want to get voted out. Also, don't be homophobic in June.
I was a youth pastor, man. Like, we had budgets for that kind of stuff. Like, I didn't used to use my own personal money.
I definitely saw the heart in Jay, and I felt like Daniel was more of a presentation.
I told you.
Wow.
Man, he did
If
call
the
it.
lights turn green, that means the mole is out and you win. If the lights
I don't know
turn
how this
red,
guy in the suit stayed
means the
in
mole is
so
still in the box and you lose. 3, 2, 1. Yeah.
Nice.
I was wrong, guys. I was wrong. Who was it?
Can the moles please reveal themselves? 1, 2, 3.
They got the girl off as soon as it started. It was the youth pastor, Daniel, and the woman. Now, he was going hard, so like, how can you hate you? I get lied to a lot, so yeah, I get. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. I appreciate y'all making it through the whole video. Be sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe to my channel. Marvel up. I'm trying to get 1,000 subs, and yeah, man. I have other videos like this, more reactions, and if you guys want to see anything, any new type of videos, I am open to trying more. A lot of time.